Hey guys, anybody who spends any time on YouTube knows that YouTube is frequented by a lot of rude and aggressive, nasty, psychopathic people. Truth is 1 to 2% of the world is psychopathic. Doesn't mean they're criminals, but 1 to 2% of people are psychopaths. And we sure do get to see them on YouTube, don't we? So Google has decided that they want to clean YouTube up. I guess, you know, with Google it's always money, so they're probably worried about the crazy people scaring away the good people on YouTube. So thinking if they can cut down on the rude, nasty, aggressive types on YouTube, that maybe it'll stop, you know, stop them losing viewers. Because I'm sure it happens. You know, I know that tends to happen on the internet and in real life. If you get enough rude, nasty, horrible people, usually what happens is they scare off the decent people. You know, the decent people get sick of it and just go, oh, I don't need this shit, and just walk away, you know. So I guess that's why. So Google's told YouTube to sort it out and told them to find a way to cut down on the rudeness and nastiness that goes on from a small percentage of the viewers on YouTube. And YouTube's bosses, the best they could come up with was to ask us to use our real names on YouTube instead of our usernames. So instead of the Japan channel, you'd be watching the, you know, Bartholomew Jones channel. That'd be fascinating, wouldn't it? Assuming that was my name, of course. The Bart Simpson channel. But so far, it's not happening for everyone. I don't know why. I haven't actually seen this, but what's happening for some users is they've got to leave a comment and a little box will pop up and say, do you want to use, here's what your username is now, you know, John27, and here's what it will look like if you use your Google Plus account. So John Smith, you know, John Simpson, Bart Simpson, whatever his real name is. So if they say no, I don't want to use my real name, then what it does is it pops up with a whole heap of, it says why don't you want to use your real name, and then it'll give you a ABCDE thing. So is it because, you know, for your safety, or is it because you know, you're using this as a business account, or is it because, and it lets you choose. So basically what it does is it pressures people to use their real name, but it's not demanding, apparently it's not demanding that they use their real name yet. So I think, so they're encouraging people to use their real name, which is, they always haven't thought this through, because, you know, the psychopathic crazy assholes that have caused this problem with their bad behaviour are obviously going to say no, because to them being anonymous is really important. If you're going to be a psychopathic asshole on YouTube, you know, for most of them, they want to be anonymous. That's how come they can be so brave and behave so badly, because no one knows who they are. So I can't see how, you know, letting people voluntarily use their real name is going to make any difference. And of course, there's going to be a lot of people who just refuse to, which I'm interested to hear what you guys, how you guys would react if you had to use your real name. My reaction would be no. If they gave me a choice, you know, if you want to continue having a YouTube account, you have to use your real name, I'd say no thank you, and I'd walk away. Because as well as there being a lot of rude, horrible, badly behaved people who leave bad comments, there's also freaking crazy psychopathic stalkers. And I've been subject to them before, where I've had, you know, been attacked day after day by the same, you know, 1 or 2 lunatics who will actually keep making false accounts and doing everything they can to stalk you for hours on end. I had a couple of these guys must have spent 20 hours a day making new accounts and posting nasty stuff on all my videos. They must have done nothing else for a few days while they did that, until the YouTube security center managed to shut them down, you know. And if you use your real name, it'd be okay if your name was John Smith and you lived in New York, you know. Who's going to be able to find you if that's all they've got? But if your name is John Smith and you live in Osaka, You know, with the modern technology being what it is and databases being what they are, you know, some lunatic with no life, no girlfriend, no job, no life, just sitting in his dark room, masturbating day after day with lots of spare time and nothing else to do, could find you. You know, if he was, you know, reasonably useful at using a computer, reasonably adept at using a computer, he could probably find you. You know, or if you lived in New York but you had a little bit of an interesting name, that there wasn't too many of you. You know, so I know for a fact there'd be a lot of people. I'm interested to hear how many of you guys would continue if you had to use your real name, and how many of you would walk away. I can tell you right now, most Japanese people would walk away. You can usually pick Japanese users on YouTube. They're the ones with the username that's a really long number, and that's usually what Japanese people do. If they have to come up with a username, they don't say John27 or something like that. They'll use a really long number, and sometimes they might have Naruto and then a really long number or something like that. But that's what they do to maintain their anonymity. They just use a really long number, and that's how you can tell. If you see a comment on YouTube and a really long number, then there's a good chance that's a Japanese person. You tell that Japanese person they have to use their real name, they'll just walk away. They'll never come back to YouTube again. They'll just walk away. There's no way. Most of them. I'm sure there'd be a couple that would continue. They'll probably tell you for themselves. I've got Japanese subscribers, so those Japanese people, tell us what you think. Would you use your real name? So yeah, I'm interested to hear how many of you would use your real name if YouTube forced you to. If they make this mandatory, I think it would be. I think what would happen is people would continue to watch videos on YouTube, but they just wouldn't have accounts. Which means if you didn't have an account, and you know, I like watching videos on YouTube. I watch documentaries and things on YouTube. And if they made me use a real name, I just wouldn't use it. I wouldn't have an account. I'd just stop making videos on YouTube. I'd continue on Blip TV. I just wouldn't post them on YouTube. But I'd continue to watch videos on YouTube. But it'd be a pain in the neck because, you know, their subscription notification system that's supposed to tell us when new videos are released by people we subscribe to. It doesn't usually work very well, but occasionally it works. But if you don't have an account, you can't use any of that. So it'd be a bit of a pain. You'd have to go to the channel, keep the channel in your browser or something, and go to your favourite channels and see what new videos they had. I guess that'd be the way to do it. But you can just imagine this, the viewership. You know, the number of people watching YouTube would plummet. It would be pretty stupid. It would be pretty stupid. You would hope that they'd be smart enough to realise how stupid it would be and what a mistake it would be. Hopefully, the thing that motivates Google and YouTube is obviously money. You know, that's why they do it. They're not a charity. Recently, I made a video. I mentioned Google, and I got all these guys getting all emotional and saying, you know, you get their service for free. What are you doing complaining? Well, guys, they're not a charity. I got your point. You know, but they're not a charity. They're not doing it for love. They're not doing it because they love us. They're doing it because they make money. So, you know. Hopefully that would win out, that they'd realise that if they do make using real names mandatory, that the viewership would drop off and they'd lose a lot of money because they wouldn't have the same number of viewers. They tried it with Google Plus, which is interesting. They actually tried it with Google Plus to make it mandatory, and some group protested and said to them that it wasn't a good thing, and that making people use their real name on Google Plus wasn't right, and that they should protect people's anonymity, and they reversed the decision so that you can use nicknames on Google Plus apparently. So I don't know, guys, it just seems like a stupid solution to me. I think you guys know I hate rudeness, not just on YouTube. You know, one of the reasons I live in Japan is so I don't have to deal with rude people. Never hear rude people in Japan, rarely. A couple of years ago there was one rude old guy in the dojo came in and got angry and was pretty loud and rude. That was the last one I've heard. That was a couple of years ago. You know, rarely hear rudeness in Japan. It happens, you know, particularly in the big cities, but I never hear it. Not where I live. You know, one of the reasons I live here is because of that. I'm driving around in the car, I don't get abuse and rudeness and all that sort of stuff that I used to get in Australia. Don't get rudeness here, so I hate rudeness. But I think, and I hate it on YouTube too, but I think that the system they've got now is pretty good. The people, you know, that YouTube's attitude is that they own the house, you know, it's YouTube's house, but our channel is like our lounge room, you know, so my channel is like my lounge room, and if you come into my lounge room and say something that makes me feel uncomfortable or makes me feel that you're being rude, I can delete your comment and block you. And I think that's adequate. I think that's fair enough. You know, people still have free speech. That person that was rude to me that I deleted and blocked, they can make their own channel and they can say what they want to say on the channel. It doesn't restrict their free speech. You know, it doesn't restrict their free speech. It's funny, I often get people that are rude on the channel and they keep pushing and pushing, and I guess now you're going to delete my comment and now you're going to block me. And then they get ruder and ruder, and I leave the comment and leave the comments and leave the comments, and then they push it, and then they say you're an asshole, and I'm okay, delete, block. And then they go away and complain to other people. He deleted me and blocked me. Yeah, he always does that. Yeah, only to rude people. Look on any of my videos and you'll see comments from people who disagree with what I'm saying. You'll see them on lots of my videos. Look at the controversial topics and you'll see lots of people that disagree with me, but not the rudeness. And I think, you know, people come and sit in my lounge room. I can decide if they say something to me that I think's rude. You know, oh, you're a hypocrite, you don't know what you're talking about, you're ignorant. Oh, okay. Delete, block. And I think that's adequate. I think that's adequate. You know, as much as I hate rude people and you know, people that go around abusing other people, I don't think making them use their real name is a solution. I don't think it's going to make any difference. And honestly, I think a lot of those rude people are not the world's smartest people anyway, and don't really care what other people think. And I think that, you know, a lot of those people, even if they were using their real name, would continue to be rude and horrible. You know, they're not face to face. I think that's the problem with the internet. It's not what name people use. It's the fact that they're not face to face. You know, if you get some guy whose name's John Smith or Peter Stevenson or, you know, something like that on the internet, he's not going to care. He's going to be just as rude as he was when his name was, you know, Mohammed 67 or whatever. You know, they don't care. They don't care. You know, they're not face to face. They're not face to face. You know, if they're standing toe to toe with you, their attitude might be different, but they're still anonymous. So it's not going to fix it. So yeah, I'm really curious what percentage of you guys would continue. I think another interesting thing is that I think the average moderate decent person doesn't comment. Many for every, I can see this from my statistics, a video will get 10,000 views and 200 comments. And I think that is a representation of what goes on YouTube, is that there's only a small percentage of the people actually watching videos that comment. And I think the moderate, quieter people just don't comment. And they just watch the video to the end, they go, and they move on. So, but I am curious, those of you who are prepared to leave a comment, what do you think? You know, if you had to use your real name, would you continue to do it? Do you think forcing people to use real names is going to make any difference to the general atmosphere on YouTube or on the internet in general? And yeah, that's basically it. I think you'd have to agree that if they do it, it'd kill YouTube, the viewership would plummet. There wouldn't be as much activity, it'd just drop off. So, but anyway, let me know what you think. I'm curious. More videos coming soon.